it's Shelley. Wanted to pop in here and give you a quick tour, maybe not so quick in the end, we'll see how long it goes, of one of my sketchbooks. This is November 2023, and I'm going to be flipping it around here and there, rotating it and stuff. So I thought I'd just start out with the cover. It is an artist's loft book. It is watercolor, and it's 8.5 by 11. So I started sketching, well, not even sketching, but like full on mixed media, watercolor, etc. during COVID as well, consistently, I should say, as a means to express myself because I had a lot of creative ideas. And because, we had a lot of time on our hands, I decided to do it in sketchbooks because you have quite a few pages and it is easier to store. I have a lot of paintings that I'm surrounded by in my home and in storage, and it gets to be a little bit much. So I will be posting those for sale as well. I'm using Etsy and fineartamerica.com to post my paintings and also merchandise. So if you're interested in seeking out prints or t-shirts or mugs and the originals, you can find them on my website, shelleyoverton.art or shelleyoverton.com, which I accidentally lost by not renewing it for a period during COVID. And only last month got it back, and I'm so excited. So I have both of those sites, and you can find my art there. So let's get started. This is, like I said, the Artist Loft. And the reason I like this one of the reasons, and I have yet to find a perfect sketchbook, but Artist Loft, I like it because it's a hard cover and it protects my art and flattens out the watercolors because when you paint, they kind of curl up a bit, or, they can. This one, I don't know if you can kind of see, yeah, on the end. Let me see if I can get it up there. The pages have a little bit of a wave, and that's because the water puckers them when you use the watercolor paper. So the hardcover is really fabulous to flatten out the paintings, and that's why I like it. But honestly, I would like this in a larger size, probably 9 by 12 or even 11 by 14 would be my ideal. But they don't make that. So I'm going to look into trying to find something like that. But anyway, so this is November 23, 2023, in case you're wondering, not the 23rd of November. But I like to put an intro page on my art so I remember the era that I'm doing it. And this is my first painting in that book. Might have to adjust the color on this. I thought it was doing good, but now it looks like it's a little bit, there it is. That's more accurate. Let's see if I can square it up. Oh, goodness sakes. Okay, well, that's a hazard of living in a smaller studio apartment. Anyway, this is the first piece. And what I did here was I had Posca pens and I wanted to do something a little bit more graphic. I do have a degree in commercial art, graphic design, and so it is kind of one of the styles of art that I really like a lot and gravitate towards. So I just threw in symbols of things that I thought were fun, rainbows and polka dots, some of my favorite. Eyes, I love doing eyes lately, and flowers, of course, and then just the colors as they combine and make up a colorway. Anyway, that's the first one. And I date them on the back. That's November 9th. And I also sign it and put a copyright with my signature and where I was at because I'm also an astrologer. And so as an astrologer, I like to know the date and time of everything. And so let's get that color going there. That's better color. So next one. Oh my goodness. I am there. That's a little bit better. So this is going to be rough because I don't have a setup yet, but I am going to get a setup that's more stable for this type of thing. Anyway, this is kind of the same idea, Christmas tree, eyes, and just playing with the Posca pens, which is something I like to do. And really another reason I do sketchbooks is because you can play around. Nobody says it has to be a certain way. So I just like to throw things out and then stumble across different ideas for my art. And this one is hearts. You can see lavender and pink. I wanted to work with the lighter colors. I love pink. Pink finds its way into almost all my art. And if you can tell, I've got my phone in my hand for the sound, but here on the art is pencil, and I tried to make the wings a little bit more realistic on this. I just thought that was a really pretty idea. And when I started out, I just put a grid of wavy crayon lines to give interest for the watercolor that I was going to put over it. So yeah, there, that's the most accurate color right there. This is one of the nicer ones. I really like this from, let me see if I could, because my, the camera is at an angle. I should probably straighten out the camera. Give me a second here. Okay, there we go. That's a little bit better to see the color and the look of the art. Anyway, this one, I think I labeled it 11:11. It was actually done on 11:11 at 11:11 a.m., I think. And so that's the name of the piece. And of course, hearts are another go-to for me. This I did with the lines for watercolor, the crayons, so that there's a resist going on for the water. And when I say watercolor, sometimes it's watercolor, sometimes it's gouache, just thinned out a bit. So I used crayon, probably gouache. Actually, this does have watercolor and gouache in it. And then I go back in. The trees have Posca pen to highlight the green, and sometimes I use color pencil as well. So this one is one of my favorites in this book as well. It is a take on a Ferris wheel. And I was just playing around and I wanted to use this color combination. And I just thought, well, I'll make circles and wavy lines. And then it just kind of, the wavy lines down here are very cartoony. And that's something else that I really enjoy doing is more of a loose cartoony feel to my drawing and illustrations. So I incorporated it. And this again, actually, most of the items in this sketchbook are mixed media. So looking at this, I think there's a little bit of pen. This is a gel pen with a metallic pink ink for my signature and the date. I've got watercolor. I don't think I used gouache on this one. And then, of course, crayon. And I think that might be everything I used on that. Maybe a little bit of color pencil with the swirls right there. And then again, some pen, the pink pen up here. Yeah, gave you a sneak peek of this a second ago. There's lotus flowers and my hearts. But this one, I was just again playing, well, the whole sketchbook is playing with crayon and watercolor and the resist going on. But I also wanted to add a pattern, and so I added these swirls inside the lotus, which I find is really pretty as well. And the pink. I love the kind of salmon colored pinks and then the lime green. There's actually a little bit of swirl going on in that heart as well. This is an older piece. Well, it's all November 2023, but this one I actually have done more with. It's been up on Fine Art America. I've put it on greeting cards, and it was a Christmas one, says Merry Christmas. This was obviously getting to be before Christmas, and so I started doing more Christmassy illustrations. And I just thought, wow, I want to do a really brightly colored Christmas tree in the forest. And there's a little bunny down here. You probably didn't even notice, little sleeping bunny. And so ornaments all over the tree and a little bit of a glow. So I really like this. I don't know if this is my Christmas card from that year or not, but I'll probably make Christmas cards on Fine Art America and send those out this year. It's really lovely. This is also one of my, I guess the whole book, that's probably why I picked it. The whole book is really, it's got a lot of fun stuff in it. I was just playing around with the gold metallic pen on this. That's what the line and around the leaves are. And again, making lines. I think there's some crayon in there that I started out with some green crayon that I did the resist. And then I threw some paint at it to make that bleedy spackle look. I really love that. And I like kind of a stripy look in a lot of my art as well. I have go-tos in my repertoire, so to speak. And a lot of art in this book is kind of a combination of different things I like to do. This one doesn't have a strict border. I put Joy of Sunshine at the bottom, so that became the name of this piece. And I think I was listening to Michael Franti at the time, and he has a song called Joy of Sunshine. Really like it. If you ever get a chance to see Michael Franti in concert, do it. He's fabulous. And then this one, I have a signature. Did I do it that way? I guess the beauty of these pieces is you can put them any direction, like it's just an abstract of leaves. And you can see the sketchy quality of some additional line work that I did with the gel pens in there, right here and here. And then I've got some around here as well. And there's gold metallic Posca pen here. Yeah, just another one. Abstracts. Love me a good abstract. I didn't sign the back of that one. Shame on me. Again, getting into Christmas, I was just playing around. I have a birdie series that I did years ago, and I do it occasionally, but these ones are a little bit more cartoony. They're not as restrictive, and this one kind of got really elongated, but anyway, it's just kind of a funny, silly little play around for Christmas, and probably not one that's going to see much more than this video. And I've got, let's see which way this goes. I guess it doesn't really matter. That way. So I put washi tape around the borders when I really want to frame in a piece and give it more of a border effect. And I did that on this. And when I took off the border, I just decided to watercolor it in and give it an extra, just kind of effect from the watercolor. Again, mixed media, not necessarily one of my favorites, but still okay. It's all exploration. This one, again, I used the washi on the border to make it more of a solid, crisp frame. And then I decided to put the metallic frame, kind of like a branch or a needle, the needles of the pine tree, just something looser. And this is a mixed media with gouache, and I've got some orange or red orange crayon that I drew out the pine cones. And this is strictly out of my head. I didn't look at anything to draw this, so just drew pine cones and then went in and did the dark and then went to the light with the color, and then the resist was really great. Up here. And then there are a number of things that you can do. You can put down white crayon, you can put down watercolor resist, and then peel it back up with the little rubber eraser. Or you can go back in after the fact with like a opaque Posca acrylic or something to block out the light. I mean, block meaning color areas, but put in light highlights. So that's what I did. And then down here is a yellow crayon for the base on the needles. You can see it a lot better my angle looking at it. I'm over here on the side looking at it this way. I can't see as much highlights and contrast as you can, which is really good because you see a more accurate view of this painting. Yeah, for me, it's fairly dark across here with just a little bit of light green, but you can see that there's more color looking straight at it. I started getting into the black outlines. It's kind of a Disney-esque or Brito effect here, and I love it. Love, love, love black outlines. It makes it instantly cartoony. And again, because cartoon and graphic design elements are really some of my favorite things, this one really speaks to me. I really love it, the swirls. And then I mixed many different watercolors in the background. And then I spackled it with more solid color as it was like blending and bleeding with the water. And so you can use a spritz bottle to spray it, keep it wet while it's kind of moving and blending. And I know I did that with this one. And I've got some purple crayon here, and then I put polka dots. Once it was dried, I took Posca pen and put the polka dots in the different areas and used my hearts. And hearts can be leaves or they can just be hearts. And I really, really love this. And I've got some actual ink pen in this area that I put just to add one more dimension with the signature hearts in a box. That's what it's called. Haven't gotten to these uploaded yet on Fine Art America, but there's a good chance that I'll do that after I finish recording this video. So some of these cool ones will be up there as well. And the mushrooms, I did, again, abstract, just playing around with crayon and flow and things that come to my mind. And then the word swirl up here. And I'm not sure what that word is. Might be something like lullaby or I don't know. Got other words over here. I think what I like most about this is the brilliance of the colors that are on it. They're really vibrant. And yeah, the mushrooms, because and the polka dots on the mushrooms, some of my favorite. Really, really like a lot of elements in this painting. And then just playing around again, more mushrooms. Did a little more of a primitive illustration style with kind of just a fun childlike flower, sunflower. And I don't know if you can tell on this one, but there's a sparkle on it. I added a little bit of glitter pen so you can kind of see the sparkle. And then down on the leaves right there. It's so fun. And then on the mushrooms too, I guess. Look at that. So fun. Cute. Yep, just some shroomies. Went out yesterday and saw two different groups of mushrooms by houses and buildings in the planting beds. I saw some white ones and some red ones. Very cool. Anyway, another thing I like to do, and again, the black outline, is put cute little blush on the cheeks of my characters. I really love that. They're so sweet when you do that. Anyway, so I instead of using washi, I just drew in the border and then a very simple black snowflake. And then I added some white Posca pen to highlight that. Just filled it in like a coloring book. So a lot of fun, really sweet little design that I could make for a greeting card if I wanted it, called Cold Kisses. Yeah. And this, again, because it's so brightly colored, I love that. Love, love, love. This isn't probably one of my favorites, but I do like the idea of the little strawberries with the polka dots, but they kind of look like tomatoes with polka dots. I don't know. And there's a wave. Just, let it fly. That's what sketchbooks are for. It doesn't all have to be perfect. And then this is one of my favorites. Love this. So, this is, if I haven't made this a greeting card, it's absolutely going to be a greeting card. Uh, so I have multiple things that I use this effect, this heart, combinations of hearts. But this one says, let love flow. And I wrote that out there. I think I wrote that out there in pink crayon, or maybe I did outlines. I don't know. But it really turned out cool. I highlighted it a little bit more with colored pencil to give it kind of a faded look around it or a drop shadow, which was very fun. And the color combinations, because they're so rich, I really like that. I just love really intense watercolor. And I tell you, I want to get into more ink watercolor, like just using ink as watercolor. But they put a lot of the common brands put the little dropper tube on the top and they dry out when you do that. It lets air flow into it. And so I really need to get the kind with a solid lid so they don't dry out. And then the other thing I noticed on this is I made the hearts more dimensional with little highlights on them, which I really like that too. One of my favorites. Fave, fave, fave. And it's also Let Love Flow is the title. Again, coming into Christmas season, Thanksgiving, we always started early, but there it is. I wanted to do a plaid sky because I just, again, like the colorway of the sky. And then I've got all the cute little different color Christmas trees, and I used a metallic silver outline for that. Little bunnies. Bunnies are another thing, you know, my repertoire. There's one hiding up at the top there. But yeah, so fun, so cute. I love this particular sketchbook. This painting, it's different. I don't know which direction I made it. Did I make it that way? I signed it at the top again. But I wanted to do kind of a dimensional feather and make it look a little bit more like a combination of abstract with the swirls and then realistic. That's definitely something I keep coming back to in my art is combining things that are like a juxtaposition. You know, having the watery, faded out watercolor in the background, but then a more accurate highlight on the edge of the feathers so you can see them, and using the light and the dark to make it a little bit more realistic within the abstract. Anyway, a cloud, very pretty little blue cloud, blue sky and a cloud. And then my final piece, which is just another silly abstract with pink polka dot sky and some leaves, or, you know, I would say it's a lotus flower, but it's not really a lotus flower. I think I was just playing around, and it looks like tulips and some, you know, I really want to explore more different shaped flowers because I don't feel I know enough shapes of flowers to really make a lot of interesting flower paintings, and I like flowers. So anyway, another exploration in color. It's outlined not in black, but in purple, Posca pen. And then I've got crayon. This is gouache. I think I've got some color. I colored in the stripes with colored pencil on this one. Posca polka dots, and then some color pencil polka dots. And there is a leaf up here in the sky as well. Anyway, I don't know what the name of that one is. Doesn't have a name. But that's my sketchbook. And I will be going through my very large stack of sketchbooks and putting them up for YouTube. And I thank you for showing up, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi, it's Shelley. I just wanted to say thank you so much for stopping by and checking out my little video sketchbook tour. And this is from November 23. I am posting them on Fine Art America, which is also linked in my website, shelleyoverton.com and shelleyoverton.art. And it is under the title November 2023 Sketchbook. So if you're looking for these paintings, what I've uploaded, they will be on my website. You just click onto any of the paintings below when you see the Fine Art America section on the front page, and it'll take you to Fine Art America, and you can kind of look around at my collection of paintings. Anyway, thanks again for showing up, and we'll see you soon.